In another game called Supreme Commander, we could rally units directly from our factories to different parts of the map and have them quickly delivered there using air transporters. These air transporters in that game have a special button called a ferry. We do not have a ferry button in bar, but we can achieve similar results using repeat. The reason why ferrying is so uncommon in bar is because transporters are really buggy right now. In fact, the T2 transporter is so bugged that I can't show you a T2 transporter ferrying multiple units at the same time. But once that bug is fixed, I can make a separate video to demonstrate for that case as well. Meanwhile, I can show you how to do a ferry with a T1 transporter. So we have a group of units over here that we want to ferry to a specific destination. With the T1 transporter, I can put it on repeat, and I have two buttons to load and unload. I can do an area drag over the group of units to load one of them, and wait for one of them to be in the air. Now I can shift Q an unload command. And normally that should be enough to achieve a ferry. But as you can see, this doesn't work. Actually, it only works 50% of the time, and it's quite random, depending on where this unit is being dropped. Right now, the ferry operation is blocked. In order to unblock it, I have to move the first unit out of the landing spot. Now the ferry will resume. But as you can see, the third unit is picked up, and now I have to manually move it again. So this is quite APM heavy, and it's not exactly what I want to achieve. So there's a better way to do this. The same steps apply to loading, but instead of queuing a single drop zone, I'll have multiple of them. So now this ensures that at least I can unload multiple units, but it doesn't guarantee that after unloading all these units, there will be enough space for the rest of the units to be dropped off. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't, because if this unit isn't dropped exactly on the marked drop zone, the transporter will find space somewhere near it to unload the unit, but it's not something guaranteed. Also notice that the transporter has to think about it sometimes, and that your units don't arrive in a packed group like they were initially. They will be spread out like this. And if these units are really slow, like sumos, it might take them a while to be grouped back again. Let's see, does it find a new place? It doesn't. So now it is blocked again. So we end up in the first situation. So this again, as you can see, is a partial solution to the problem. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In this case it didn't. So it's not a good way to do ferrying in bar. So I'm going to show you a better way which is reliable. And this trick is based on how we do mexes upgrades with land units. So let's say I have a few T1 mexes over here, and I have a T2 bot engineer that is really far away, and I want to upgrade these mexes really fast. And to do that, I'll use the help of a transporter. So instead of just issuing multiple upgrades like this, I can first queue a load in the transporter and then to upgrade the maxes like this. So now that the T2 engineer is loaded in the transporter, you see that the upgrades are still available. They're still queued up. Once I let go of the engineer, it will continue its queue. Again, I can do it with space as well to put it in front of the queue, and I can drop it near the maxes. So now it will continue its queue. So this trick can also be applied to ferrying units. All I have to do is I have to give these units some initial command that once it is in the air, once the units are in the air, they will forget about that command. So in this case, I'll have these units guard this wall. So I'm going to rally units first to this wall, and then if I want to drop them to this, ferry them to this destination, I'll queue from the factory directly to move them to this specific location. So now units that come out of the factory will initially guard this position, and if something happens to this wall, if I destroy this wall, or if these units are picked up, they will move to the second destination. So now I'm going to do a ferry using a transporter. Again, the same steps: load and unload over here. Once the unit is unloaded, it will continue to its destination. And I can do this with a lot of transporters at the same time. Again, wait for them to be loaded. And now, once they all are unloaded, they will all try to gather up to this single point, which was the initial rally. And this is a reliable way to do a ferry in bar. And the transporters will never get stuck.